live from New York. It's the show that went to the Justin Timberlake concert as a group.
That's not true. It's just not true. I invited these guys. They wouldn't go. There were two open seats.
You didn't invite us.
Triple date, us and all our wives.
You said two seats open. How can we?
Well, I ended up, your wives went. You guys just didn't show up.
First. Underdog back-to-back Super Bowl champions in San Francisco. Sunday at 4 in America's Game of the Week on Fox. Mahomes and friends. 1.5-point underdogs, not bad. Even though they are coming off of a bye. 49ers are on a mini bye. Mahomes the best among 4 all-time great QBs.
I mean, this is
as
a
an underdog.
hilarious graphic.
It's Mahomes, Jimmy G,
Look, Bruce,
Lamar, and Tom
Who would
Brady.
have thought that?
Fans of the show,
but
sir.
Mahomes
Somebody was telling us
demonstrably
this
better than
years.
the rest from a winning percentage perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even better than Jimmy G.
Yeah, it was
Jimmy G demonstrably
better than Lamar and Tom.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, the question is this disrespectful, this line?
It's disrespectful and it's dumb.
Oh, double.
So let me talk about the dumb part first and the disrespectful part. The Chiefs, as presently constituted, should never be the underdog.
I mean,
Every team they play, they have the edge at coach, at quarterback, at defense, and in special teams. Remove even the two-time defending champs. They've won 11 in a row. Any matchup where one team has the edge across the board in all of those categories, they should at worst be a pick'em. They shouldn't ever be an underdog. So that's the dumb part of it. The disrespectful part is the part I actually like, because this is one of the Chiefs' edges is they get to simultaneously be the defining dynasty of an era while constantly being disrespected.
Yeah.
We are in such, sorry to sound like an old man, but as you know, I did just turn 40, and I'm starting to get some old man tendencies.
Coming quick.
In our instant gratification society, we are so quick to move on to the next thing.
Microwaving.
Exactly right. That despite the fact that we're in the middle of the Chiefs dynasty, people are over it. They're like, what's next? And the answer is whatever's next is not anytime soon, because this is now. But Patrick, in his career, you showed the winning percentage. I'll show the other numbers. He's the greatest underdog quarterback ever. So they're 10-3 straight up, 11-1-1 against the spread. They score an average of 32 a game, and Patrick is brilliant. And he's won 4 straight as an underdog, and those, by the way, were all playoff games. He was underdog in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, underdog in the Super Bowl last year against the Niners, underdog in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens, underdog against Baltimore. So, yeah, I mean, I love it, but it is disrespectful and it is dumb, bro.
It is disrespectful. There's no doubt about it. And you brought up Mahomes' numbers, and I know you know this. How about Andy Reid? Off a bye?
Well, that's the other part.
Off a bye?
He's 21-4.
21-4. That's the best ever.
Yeah.
By a coach. Off the bye. He's 8-3 with the Chiefs off the bye.
You know, we talked about maybe making that into a full screen, and I didn't want to do it because I felt like it was somewhat negated by
the mini bye.
Yeah.
Well, he's 1-2 when both teams have a bye.
Oh!
Okay,
this guy's ready for
but
it.
It's not. But it's not a bye.
Yeah,
it's a little bit of an extended rest.
Mini bye.
But because the Niners played last Thursday, but it's still not a full bye. So I don't think that equates. I think, Nick, this is disrespectful to the Chiefs, but I'm going to put it on. It's disrespectful to Patrick Mahomes more than anybody. And you're starting to hear, even though he's still the favorite to win an MVP, you're starting to hear people talk about he's not having a good season, which we know that, but and he wasn't that good last year. Like, people are starting little whispers to disrespect Mahomes.
Where are you hearing these whispers?
Little whispers on the radio and things like that.
In his own office.
Not me. You know I'm the Mahomes guy, right?
Are you?
Jordan-esque.
Oh, that's true.
The boat, all that stuff. First to say all that stuff.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Nick, and I talked last Friday after San Francisco played and beat Seattle, how Purdy had 8 3-touchdown, no interception games. Since he became a starter, it was like 27 games ago. Mahomes hasn't had a 3-touchdown game in his last 18 games. Forget the interceptions, like 2 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. He hasn't had a 3-touchdown game in his last 18. He hasn't had a 3-0 or 3 or more 0 interception games in like 22 games. So I think people are starting to kind of, even though he's pulling out these W's, getting used to feeling like, well, he's not the guy we saw early in his career. Fair. So I think it's disrespectful of him because he has been pulling these W's out.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they shouldn't be big favorites. Almost. The weird thing about the Chiefs is this. They never blow teams out anymore. Never. Look, like, you will see basically every team other than the 5 or 6 worst teams in the league will occasionally just beat a team by 20. You know what I mean? Like, it's not sure. The Saints did it. The Falcons will do it. The Colts occasionally will do it. Everyone, it seems like, will occasionally like, oh, okay. And now maybe the Chiefs, over the last 2 years, just don't do it. Since the last year, they did it against the Bears early in the year. And since then, they're not blowing anybody out. The closest would be, I guess, the Dolphins playoff game, but the Dolphins kind of just quit. The 26-7 felt different. Now, part of that,
cold too.
Right? It was very cold. Part of that, I do think, Wilds, is because everybody comes ready to play with their A game against Kansas City, so you don't get any time.
And also, let's just keep it real. Yeah. The offense isn't their great strength right now.
Yeah, but my point is, like, even teams that don't have great offenses occasionally will blow people out more often than the Chiefs do. But are we moving on?
No.
Okay.
If you want to, we can.
Well, there's just something we have to do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to bring the board. I mean,
what is the board for?
I get it.
What do you mean?
Vegas.
Vegas goes on the board.
Yeah, I get that.
Just like Vegas went on the board in the preseason. I'm sorry. Vegas was on the board in the preseason. If you remember, because the Niners were the favorites. Vegas loves the Niners. They made them the Super Bowl favorites right after the Chiefs beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. Now they are on the board because they're calling the Chiefs underdogs. So, yeah, the city of Las Vegas, top 3 city in the world, if you ask me, goes on the board. There's nothing I can do. 49ers are better than the Chiefs. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Top 3 city in the world? And
New York, Paris, and Vegas. That's what everybody knows. What are you guys laughing about? New York, Paris, and Vegas are the 3 best cities in the world.
I will not co-sign that.
I mean, they're on the board.
You should be a Raiders fan.
I like Vegas, though.
It doesn't mean they have good sports teams. Well, it's just a great city. I have to be a Paris Saint-Germain fan as well because I like Paris? No. It's not about their teams. It's about the quality of the city.
You don't like Mbappe?
Keep going.
Sorry, on the field now, I know. Mahomes and Kelce getting back on the same page after a slow, albeit undefeated start. Last time Fred Warner faced Kelce, the tight end had 9 catches for 93 yards in the Super Bowl. Here's Fred's new plan on slowing the duo down. Now, that's his own podcast?
I don't know.
Can we get brother a better podcast studio?
Let's
start there.
In the rear view, so maybe he's supposed to be doing it from his car, and I don't know.
What?
Listen, I told you too many podcasts.
that is not a good look.
I think
he has a
for
seatbelt.
future Hall of Famer.
Exactly. He's doing it from his car. That's my point. Yeah.
Do it in the morning
seatbelt like a
when it's
defense
light
thing, like
outside or
I don't know.
something.
Here we go.
In the morning. You think he's doing it at night?
All right,
Yeah, I think he's doing it. Where do you think he's doing it?
But that's the issue with when you don't have the right aesthetics to your media production company.
Yeah.
The message gets lost.
Okay. Go ahead.
We missed the front.
No, we did.
You forgot the question.
It was just if
Not
America.
Fred's fault.
If America wasn't, was distracted by them. That full screen showed when targeting Kelce, great, and then this year the numbers haven't been there.
Yeah,
now
I said
go ahead.
Slow start.
I can do more of your job, or you can ask Brew the question.
I got to do Fred's producing job, okay? So I'm trying to help media in general. I'm in the sports business. I agree. It's an attention to detail. Now I think the Chiefs are going to roll.
Okay.
Or it's the opposite. It's like seeing a slovenly coach. Like, man, they are so locked in, they don't care about anything. Did Fred's comments surprise you?
Go ahead, bro.
No. Not first of all, as you could see, He had just gotten back from the Seattle game it's probably Thursday night at about 1 a.m. And he's in his car. Oh, I got to do this freaking podcast. I forgot. Okay. And he's doing it. So they had not game planned for the Chiefs yet. So he's like, of course we don't have a game plan yet. Secondly, if he did, if it was this morning and it was bright out and you could see him actually, he still would not give you the game plan to try to stop these guys. And thirdly, he respects them clearly as he should. Right. He's lost to them twice in the Super Bowl, and those two have obviously been good, Mahomes and Kelce. And so it's just respect. He's not going to come out and say anything, ignorant or disrespectful to those guys.
I mean, listen, he plays the Chiefs at most once every 2 years, and 10% of his career losses are to them.
That's amazing.
He's 69-45 against everyone else, and 0-4 against Kansas City. In the playoffs, he's 8-2 against everyone else, and one of those two losses, they lost all their quarterbacks a quarter into it, and he's 0-2 against Kansas City. He also, if you guys, that we don't have to bring the board out again, and this obviously would not be board-worthy. No, but it's the closer you are to all-time legendary status, the less likely you are to talk mess about the all-time legends. Like Joe Burrow doesn't show up on the board. Josh Allen doesn't show up on the board. Their teammates do sometimes. Fred Warner is, in my opinion, en route to being a first ballot Hall of Famer. He knows what first ballot Hall of Famers look like, as he alluded to there. And he also knows that this, as great as he is, when Mahomes has played him, we can show you the numbers, he has absolutely torched him.
Yeah.
365 yards a game. And by the way, all 4 of those times, Brew, the Niners defense appeared to be better than this one.
Right.
Now, you can say the Chiefs offense was better, except for last year's Chiefs offense in the Super Bowl, but the other 3 were. But so I think Fred recognizes no Dre, no Hufanga. He's torched us forever. And so I just think he is playing this smart, which is, it is the type of quote that honestly, sorry to sound obnoxious, but the Chiefs give. It's the type of quote Travis Kelce gives, where it's just like, that guy's awesome. There's no way, you just try to avoid him or whatever it is. Great players recognize it's just smart. And his own history is that he beats everybody except for this specific team.
Big names on that board, though, as I'm looking at it.
Again.
Derrick Henry?
Yeah, but that was more complimentary to Lamar.
Jamar?
5-0, off a bye. At what point, and I know we're like, Travis has been getting better, still no touchdowns. Mark Andrews got a touchdown the other day, so that drought was over. At what point can we officially go on like, man, Kelce's got to get into the end zone?
I won't.
Okay.
I won't.
If they don't win the Super Bowl. I mean,
well, we can't. Because last year, be like, I just think at some point, it'll be like, in the playoffs, he'll turn it on because that's what he did last year.
But that is exactly.
But he had a bunch of touchdowns too.
He wasn't that good in the regular season.
He had 5.
Well, right now he's on track for 0.
Well, yeah, I understand he has
and
0
we're
through
going
5 games. I mean, that's the.
So what's he on? Okay.
I mean, I guess here's the reason the reason that I'm dismissing it, Wilds. Last year in the regular season, Travis Kelce was a B player. And in the postseason, he was not only the best weapon the Chiefs had, not only the best weapon any team had, but had an all-time great postseason performance. Line it up against any pass catcher of any playoff run ever, and it's right neck and neck with what Larry Fitzgerald did the year of the Cardinals as far as targets. So the jump from regular season to postseason. So even if this year, instead of being a B player, he's a C player, then we have, to me, proof of concept
that it'll be
that
a B player.
Well, I think he made like 3 jumps from where he was in the regular season to the playoffs. That he will be a dynamic weapon.
I just don't think it's unfair. I'm trying to think of comps. Like, if Gronk was touchdown, and I don't have Gronk's numbers on the top.
No, but it is what happened with Gronk.
Gronk, the year they beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game with New England, Gronk didn't have a great regular season.
About Tampa Bay
huge
Gronk.
in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
same thing. He was mediocre. No, again, he's not going to finish the year with 0.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Right now he's got 0, and everything is the lowest of his career. Yeah. So it's a little bit. If this was your take was that Derrick Henry has kind of the wave of Derrick Henry had crested, and I thought it was a fair take. And if Derrick Henry was like, man, look at what Derrick Henry's doing, nothing. I don't think it would be unfair to be like, wow, Derrick Henry seems to not be producing. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. And if I was like, you know what, come playoff time, Derrick Henry is going to be amazing.
That would
because
make
he has in the past. I think it's fair to be like, man, he's not producing. Okay. He's down from, it was last year, it was 66 yards, and now it's 48. It's not like.
So, yeah, 16 yards.
What's a significant
or
amount?
18 yards.
He's only doing 6. You want to do percentage-wise?
No, you're trying to use comps that I am going to summarily reject because there is not a. If Derrick Henry last year and the year before was dynamic, dominant, unstoppable in the playoffs, and then coming into this year, I was like, I think he's on the other side of his career. That would have been a bad take. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't if the belief is what I have said, and the Swifties got mad at me about it because they thought I was taking a shot at Travis. I think he has a set amount of great games left. I think he's a big enough pro to understand what it takes to produce those big games in the week leading up to and during the game. And I don't think he needs to expend those in September and October. Okay. And I saw him do it last year and be unguardable in the postseason against teams built to stop him. Yeah. So if you're asking me when will I be worried about Travis Kelce, the answer is when he has a bad playoff game, which he never has with Patrick. Not one.
I'll take the before where he'd take on that. MVP odds, Mahomes at 1, Josh Allen at 2, Lamar at 3, then CJ, and then Jaden coming in at 5. Mahomes this season still undefeated and number 1 in MVP, but by his standards, not awesome. Completion percentage is high.
By anyone's standards, not awesome.
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to be nice. Yeah. Is Mahomes in danger of losing his MVP fave status this weekend?
Yes. If they lose and he doesn't play well, and if they lose, he probably won't, then I don't think he'll be the favorite the following week.
I agree.
Because we will now have been 7 games into the season, almost halfway, and it'll be like, he's not having an MVP-worthy season at all. Now, conversely, Nick, if they win, and even if he doesn't play great, like they win, but he kind of does what he's doing, yeah, because at some point it's going to be like, and they're beating good teams. It's not like they're just beating bad teams. The undefeated record is going to be huge.
Bro, I wrote, as long as Kansas City's undefeated, he'll remain the favorite. Right or wrong? That's not how I think the award should go.
For me,
it's not how I think the award should go, but given how the award has gone, as long as they're undefeated and the media kind of universally agrees that offense doesn't have great weapons, you even have a national treasure on TV trying to convince America Travis Kelce is totally washed, then the quarterback is going to remain the favorite.
That would be a huge win for everyone who believes in quarterback wins.
Correct, which is a lot of the voters. Right.
And I don't know that he would win. Like, if he plays this way the whole year and they go
undefeated, he'll win the Super Bowl. He'll win the MVP. If they go undefeated, he'll win the MVP.
That would really be interesting.
Yeah.
That would really be a test because these numbers aren't close to Hall of Fame.
But if they're undefeated,
it would be the cherry on top of the quarterback wins Sunday.
Yes, correct.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, but go ahead, Bruce. Sorry, do your ballot.
Well, okay. Bruce's ballot is not a projection.
No.
It is now. All right, as we are. So I don't no past history or anything like that. All right, here we go. At number 5, you're gonna like this one, Nick. C.J. Stroud.
He would be on
First time he makes an appearance, and obviously they're 5-1, third best record in the league, and he is putting up good numbers, not fantastic, but good numbers. And the thing is, he's the driving force. This is why I have him over Darnold, because he's the driving force. He's doing it with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, if each missed the game. And Joe Mixon, their best running back, the big offseason acquisition, has missed 3 games. So at number 4,
Love it.
Derrick Henry.
Totally agree.
On pace for 1,994 yards.
Gotta get those
career high 6 yards a carry.
Yep.
Leads the league in touchdowns with 8, big plays with 8. Like, he's just having a phenomenal year. At number 3, his teammate. Now, some might think he should be higher. Some might think he should be higher, and I will say this, and Nick and I have talked about this a lot. If he had not already won 2 MVPs, including last year's, and had better without winning a Super Bowl yet, or even getting to one, he would be higher. But he's having a phenomenal year, especially of late. All right, at number 2, he dropped the notch. Jaden Daniels, now coming off a loss, but it wasn't his fault. He played really well against the Ravens. 2 touchdowns, season high, 269
Lamar,
yards.
they just played, and Lamar.
Well, it's not QB wins.
Yeah,
Lamar was great, but Jaden has been great.
He's saying
all
Jaden
year.
has carried him all year, while Lamar.
He doesn't have a Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And at number one, I gotta give it to him.
Oh my! What a moment!
I'm fair.
What a moment!
Hold on, it's not. He leads the league in touchdowns with 15. They got great wins. They beat Detroit.
Yep.
They beat Washington.
Yes.
Whatever you think of Philly, Philly's talented.
I just said Lamar beat Washington.
It's
and you
not
said,
QB wins.
Are running backs eligible for Bruce ballot?
Yes.
Okay, so then why aren't you mad that Derrick Henry's behind you? Should it just?
I
do think Derrick Henry. I would have.
So who would you have number 1?
I would have Derrick Henry number 1.
That's fine. We can do this longer later, but that's
old school.
It has to for MVP.
Okay,
it has to incorporate
Baker's
how much you're doing compared to everyone else. I agree with you, bro.
Baker threw 3 interceptions.
But he had 4 touchdowns, and he still got 50.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.